Hey, John here. Let's talk about how stacks work, all right? In this case, we're going to be speaking in the most general of terms here. So this is just an introduction, okay? An analogy that a lot of people use that I think actually works fairly well for a change. Most times I can't stand the average analogies that a lot of people use while discussing computers. Let's go and talk about what happens when you go to like a cafeteria or something like that. You know, there's usually like a table and they have this pile of trays, and there's usually this like spring thing, and they kind of disappear into the counter, and you can see this it's literally is the best word for it is called a stack, right? And that's what it is. Somebody might come along out of the kitchen and they'd say, oh, I have a bunch of clean trays, and they're going to put them on top. What are they going to do? Let's call this one number one. Somebody puts 3 trays on this thing. They're going to put one on there, number 1. They'll put a number 2 on there, and then they're going to put the third one on there, and they'll pile them up in order. And as they put more of them on, of course, it pushes down on this string. So sometimes this is referred to as a push down stack. All right. Sometimes it's just a stack, as we'll see, that have other names as well. They all really mean the same thing. So what do we know? Every time somebody puts a clean tray on here for someone else to use at a future time, they push it onto the top of this stack. So what happens is push is the name that we use to add a new item. Add a new item. All right. And when you remove one, let's say you're a customer wants to come along, you want to buy something for lunch. What are you going to do? You're not going to take the tray out of the bottom or the middle. You're going to take the one off of the top right there. So what happens is new trays are put on the top like this, and old ones are removed for use also off of the top. So you say you push a new item onto, I should have said, the top. All right, I'll put quotes around that. And when you want something out of this stack, you pop. All right, these are the official words that we use to describe this. You push on and you pop out off. Okay, so you pop, remove item from the top of the stack. Oops. If I can spell and speak at the same time. Top of the stack. All right. Now, because you're pushing things onto the top and removing things only from the top, all right, this is also referred to as a last in, first out data structure. Okay. Oftentimes, you'll hear people call this a LIFO. They'll just pronounce the acronym, and that's what they're talking about. It's a last in, first out. The last one that goes onto the top is the first one that comes back off of the top when somebody wants to use one. Now, that's all great in the abstract sense, but what are the situations, what are the unique situations we have to concern ourselves with? Let me make some room so I can write some more stuff down here, okay? What happens when we pop and the stack is currently empty, right? We call that an underflow. All right, so that can definitely happen. Normally, when you use a stack in a software environment, you keep track of how many things are on it, and you want to make sure you don't do this, because this is essentially undefined. It's sort of like, in algebra, we simply say we give up and we say we divide by 0. You say there is no answer to that, and we're not going to worry about it. Don't do that, okay? The other problem that you can have is what happens if you push what is it? Well, there's no room. All right, now, theoretically, this can never happen. Theoretically, this is an infinite size. But in reality, you have to pay for memory, right? Well, if you keep pushing into a stack on your PC or something, and you do it forever, you'll eventually run out of space to hold new items, okay? So if that ever happens, we call that an overflow. So we've got last in, first out. You push things onto this top, and you pop things off of the top. Every time you push something on, it obscures everything below it and renders it inaccessible, so to speak. I mean, theoretically, it does. Whenever you pop something off of the top of the stack, it reveals, like if I remove this number 3 off the top here, it will then reveal this element underneath it, number 2. If I then pop that one off, it would then reveal the element underneath that, number 1, and so on. So in the simplest of terms, that's how a stack works. A LIFO, a push-down stack. Thanks for watching. See you next time.